this. I have really just not been myself. But I have a plan now. And we're going to take all the time that we need to become resolved here. So this is a need to know reading, and Lindsay got this because she's feeling stagnant in her life and she's lacking some vision. So the main points I'm going to highlight before we start is, where is or was the blockage? How are you or will you overcome it? Where to look for inspiration internally and externally. So those are the main points. I'm going to use the Tarot Obscura, and we're just going to get into it. Personally, I'm gonna give you like a little bit of update on the context of my life. So I'm in a point of transition because my primary form of income, I need to like transition to another primary form of income. So that's where I'm at. I'm like planning for the future, but I'm going to be doing in the new year with the understanding that a lot of how I typically structured my life is like a lot of that space becomes open for new things for me to put into that space. So that's how I'm choosing to look at it, right? Because like I could be like, oh, I'm losing something, but I prefer, even in stressful situations, to think of like the optimistic thing, because I just can't like handle my own negativity. Like I become very self-destructive. So I'm choosing to think of things like, oh my god, this thing was taking up a lot of my time. I proved myself up until now as being someone, so that now I have a certain level of confidence. Not even just like to say like, oh, I have 50,000 people who follow me on TikTok, right? Like that was cool for a while, but now I have it like integrated into my identity. So now even when I come to this platform and I know I'm not getting as many views, I can still operate with like this understanding of my prestige that allows it to translate even better. So if you're not transitioning, like if you're not starting something completely new, this could be a good time to start walking with some of like this greater confidence in the skills that you already have. My cat just wanted to mention that she came just now. Why did that sound sexual? I don't know why I got like a sexual vibe off of that. I don't know, maybe you need to have some kind of experience that might like help you release some stress. And if it's not that you're giving that to someone else, like my cat just came to me, you know? So I don't know why, I'm just getting the vibe. Maybe you might need to just release some energy, release some stress. I just looked over at this lighter on my desk. Get a life, it says. So you might need to give yourself some life and do that whatever way that you like to do that. Like, I like to smoke a little bit. It's legal where I live, so no risk in it. You know, maybe you drink, maybe you party. This could be a good time to let yourself have those things, because what could have been blocking you is like your own need to perform in a certain way. Like you have like maybe a standard of what it means to be balanced that you need to relax. I was guided to start relaxing my hair. Like I had locks before, you know, like locks. So like before, in the past years of my life, I've had a need to be defensive and have like a strong sense of independent identity and like assert that and that like confidence. And now I'm learning more to be like interactive. So there could be some opportunities that you need to initiate that demonstrate your interest, like self-starting, maybe even in a new industry, accepting where you are a novice, where you can still grow. Like I recently rejoined like a Christian atmosphere. I started going back to church in the beginning of December, and I've been like every Sunday since. And that's come with like things, right? Because I'm not even really used to being in there. Like it's been a while for me since I went ritualistically, because I was originally a religious person. I was raised Baptist, and I was baptized when I was 14. I joined the church when I was 7. And then I had a spiritual awakening after my baptism. So I started to explore other things. Like growing up in it, I had a very intellectually savvy person, so I have big grown adult thoughts, and I've had them since I was a kid. So I began to like explore things like quantum physics, like just deepen my understanding of like the world itself, because I always had like questions about how the world worked at its very like fundamental like levels. I'm just a curious type of person. So this could be like you taking advantage of opportunities to be curious, even about things that normally you wouldn't be. Like even today, I was on YouTube watching like Nazi documentaries about like the SS. Because like, why not understand that mentality? It would be dumb. Like I always have had like a fascination with like the dark side of the moon, you know? Like I want to know what's over there. Like I know it's there. Everyone knows it's there. Only some people really want to go and explore that. And like, hold on. I think maybe if you're feeling bored, maybe you need to just like start doing some more cool shit. Like, and you need to figure out what that cool shit is for you, because not everybody's cool shit is the same cool shit for everybody else. But like, you should take advantage of opportunities, and maybe they've always been there, but you just haven't put them into motion. Like, I had to invest in yarn to start selling crochet stuff, you know, and then I used that giveaway as like a way to make myself learn the skills. And I did like 10 things. One of them was like for Sky, I gave her like a huge lap-sized dragon. Like the way my cat sits in my lap is the way that dragon sits. I'm really proud of that. It was purple and black. Okay. So yeah, tell me more about this blockage for Lindsay. What does she need to know about the blockage that she is or was facing? Justice. Some of this is just like faded. You know, like sometimes you slow down, like Saturn. This is a Libran card, so you could be going. You could have some. Look at your I'm sorry, I'm speaking in incomplete sentences. Look at your birth chart, maybe like the transits, and see where Saturn is and what it's aspecting, because that could give you some insights into where karma is just like working out. And it's like, yes, it's cause and effect, result of your actions, but also like you couldn't have probably gotten around it. Like you did it, yes, but like, you know, like you were always going to do it, kind of a thing. Like there was no real avoiding that, even if you think that there was. So consider that like some of your circumstances are like predetermined, that you were meant to have like certain rises and falls. Like I'm thinking like sine and cosine in trigonometry. Like there is natural counterbalances, natural counterweight. So even when you want to like be upset with someone else, or you know, like, you know, judge or anything like that, just be aware of that, where that causes blockages, not because you're unjustified in your position, but just because there is another position that you should be considering in order to remain balanced in your thought, like effective in your processing and strategy creation. Okay. And take advantage of opportunities like from other people who contrast you to get like what that is. So it's like, you know, there could be some strange situations coming up, or have in the recent past, and you're like, well, I never expected to encounter a variable such as this. And like, you're not meant to shy away from that. You're meant to kind of have an audience to what like maybe God is presenting to you in the form of that experience, however strange that may be. Because you don't even know how like God may be using you to work in other people's lives. And some of us, the more submissive of us, already do know how God is using us to work, and have agreed to like let God use us. And I'm using God here, and I want to like encourage you all to like consider that there's like maybe a spiritual God and then like a masculine like material world God. Like in any situation, there's like an overlord supervising kind of force that makes sure that this functions. And that's like a part of any machine. So like in the material world, God is the machine. So just consider that layer of like interpretation as I speak and mention God, because it may show up in different ways here, from different angles. So what else? Four of Wands. I think your identity is something that's really important to you, and I think you have a certain level of like defensiveness against certain truths about yourself that you benefit from overcoming, especially if any insecurities result from like your childhood, whether that was like in the home or outside of the home. If you were ever bullied for any particular reason, if you like even were overly like, if you took for granted certain things about your status or like your position in relationship to others, I think, like, there's opportunities for you in this energy to understand how you already are doing pretty good. So although you're feeling stagnant and lacking vision, like, it's important to keep looking around at everything that you already have, and seeing kind of like where you've come as far as your like trajectory thus far. Because I'm thinking of that movie Donnie Darko. You know how he has that tube coming out of his chest, and he can like see before, maybe like a little bit like after, like where he just came from. So it's like you're already on a course, and even though that like your current position could be uncomfortable right now, it's important to like try to see beyond that current position and understand and like rationalize for yourself why it's important for you to be where you are and learn whatever you're learning from whatever is uncomfortable. Like, it's like, for example, you mismanage your finances, and then like on the second week you are a little bit lower on groceries and you have to like skip out on some essentials because you did something else somewhere else, I just dropped some of the cards. Yeah. So it's like, when you're in that feeling of, oh, I have to put my coffee creamer back, or I had to get a less cheap brand because I did that over there, it's like, okay, well, I kind of set myself up for this, and next time if I don't want to have to get a cheaper brand, I should probably be aware of what I need and allocate for that before. I don't know, like, it's something like that, or it's just cause and effect, and you're sitting maybe in the cause or the effect right now, but like natural counterbalances. There's nothing to resist about what's happening, basically, is what I'm saying. So if it's uncomfortable, just try to like figure out what you're meant to be learning from it, because there's nothing to resist. Nothing's out of place. Justice is upright, and the Queen of Swords is in the reverse. So it's like, if you are having like if you're struggling to look at this as a balanced situation, as how it should be, then maybe there's something to change about your perspective and how you're seeing your position, or what role you've played, and how things have gone. Because scales are, karma is significant to this situation in some way. And Libra, all this Libran energy is coming out to contrast the Aries energy. It's 4 of Wands. It's like opposites. So you might need to maybe you consider putting yourself in an opposite way of being to see solutions to problems in your life right now. And also be open to like troubleshooting, like trial and error, where that applies. Like, try to be in an observant position in your life, like you're the voyeur of your vessel. Like, I'm just watching my life through my eyes. I think that might help get you through some of the more like tougher experiences. That's kind of like a little bit of like shadowy or advice though, because it's kind of like a little bit of dissociation, but I think people who are strong enough to know how to use dissociation should use their dissociation when they need to. And that's part of the reason why we have like these stronger missions, because we have a larger capacity for things, which means compartmentalization a lot of times, which Libra is great at. So if you're struggling with your identity, then like your ability to compartmentalize it could also be struggling, which is just natural to your computer needing to like reboot itself to like who you will be as a result of a new variable being added in or taken away. Or like, if it was like some kind of essential function, it's like it needs to be replaced by something lateral. So you could be like, if there was a chessboard of your life that you're once again like observing, like an important piece is moving, maybe even to capture another piece. It's like a significant little situation is happening there. And you're just like in the middle of that. It changes the position of maybe like someone. Like, because one of these pieces could be a person in your life that's related to like maybe your family or your community that you need to remove, or that is coming in to your space, to your territory, and you feel maybe like even encroached upon. This could be like the energy of like you visiting your family for the holidays from like somebody's stepdad, or like like you just don't like somebody who's there, and then it's like, ugh, this guy's here. It can be some stuff like that, and you're in that moment of like, this guy's here. You have to ask yourself, why do I care? You know, like and like not because you shouldn't care, but because you need to like understand why you're in the position that you are in as it relates to that person, whether or not you should hold fast in it or you should be flexible, because it's okay to change your mind. Like, you know, in the introduction of new information, it's like, you know, encouraged to be wise and to like absorb that new information, because there is like a true there is a truth here, you know, that like an objective truth. So when people are struggling to like understand that or see that, they risk being out of balance. And I don't know that that's you or that's someone else, like in relationship to you, that you need to be aware of, like their inability to maybe step outside of their personal biases, because there could definitely be some like people with strong personal biases that may contrast you in the energy of like near, past, present, or future. Okay, so how are you or will you overcome this? I like this Knight of Swords because it's like, I'm not scared of anything kind of a thing. And I think that's like a strength that you're demonstrating in life right now, is your willingness to go after what you want. Maybe even speak up. Why is the Six of Pentacles here? Ace of Swords, yeah. Maybe especially speak up. Like put your name in the raffle. Assert yourself as like having a skill. Maybe even the way that you package what you have to offer. Like you're not only the fact that you can communicate, but how you communicate. Eloquence in speech, because Libra is like, there's a lot of air sign energy here. So Gemini, Libra, Aquarius, like it just, how you speak is maybe a reflection of your mind, and not only your mind, but then also your origin, where you come from. Maybe like your creed, like your group. Like people can tell a lot about you based on how like you express yourself. And maybe you're good at like communicating to those with the eyes to see. Why is Justice here? So like subtle communication. This is the Eight of Pentacles. Dude just by his lonely on his grind. So like I said, like this objective, stepping outside of yourself to get maybe even some of this more like tedious everyday stuff done, because you could be just in a point of transition where you just need to create the transition, and that is the primary focus, is the thinking about the craft. What am I making? How am I making it? And is it good enough for me, or in accordance to the God that I am submissive to? It's important to like have things in order, I think, right now, or just like be able to clearly see things. Like understanding who really is supportive to you. Who is worth defending? To what extent? How much do I prioritize my ambitions? And my personal ambitions? How much are my personal ambitions affected by other people? What image in the world have I curated? How honest is that? If it is honest, do I like how honest it is? If it isn't honest, do I like how dishonest it is? Where can I add new things to my previously existing identity that make me feel stronger? Or challenge me to like grow? And these are all things that you're doing internally for yourself. Like you're doing something in your workspace to present to the world. Even if your workspace is just like your mind palace. Or I'd call my apartment my lair. This is Lonnie's lair. And I also I had a radio station at one point, like a 24/7 one, and I was really proud of it, and it was called Lonnie's Lair. I might have to get that thing back going. And yeah, cause dude, I might be like, I might start going dark, like night shift, personally. Like when this whole TikTok thing goes away, I think I'm probably just gonna end up being a creature of the night. We have the Eight of Swords. Your family could affect your ability to fully express yourself. I would definitely encourage you to consider like how you've been disciplined, maybe by your religion, by your like environment, even if that's like a level of being sheltered, and that discipline not being like a negative discipline but like a privilege, like, and how that has formed you and conditioned you to, you know, just a way of thinking. And because I think like part of how you get through whatever the blockage is by challenging yourself to think differently, like challenging yourself to step outside of how you always have been to try to be something new. Because like there's a whole life that you have where you're just constantly building on what was already there and then taking away what you didn't like from before, and that changes from different perspectives, and you're like encouraged to see it like a game, you know, like you're just moving your chess pieces around, playing your cards how you want to. I just realized I never picked those up. Still on the ground. Yeah, like, you know, it's like it's opportunities here, because like it's literally the King of Wands, the King of Pentacles, and the Ten of Pentacles with the Two of Pentacles there. It's like opportunities abound, but what am I doing to like put myself, stick my neck out kind of like to get them? Because you might have to like expose your neck a little bit. And when I say neck, you know, that's like your truth, like it's your throat chakra. It's like how I express myself. So it's like, you know, let's say for example you're realizing, hey, I'm a little gay, you know. And I kind of want to have more like gay experiences, but like how you kind of have to like accept at least to the minimum degree in order to be recognized by other gay people as someone that they can approach or like interact with. Like you have to like kind of like edge your way up there. But like eventually you do. You have to like break that ice. So wherever you are breaking ice, it doesn't have to be that you're gay. I was just thinking in my head. But like however you are breaking ice, you're encouraged to break the ice, because there's like a whole new world. Like you're right over there. Yeah, man. Like pull yourself like out of the stuck position. Like no one else can really do that for you, and you have to like decide that you want to do that. But it does feel like the answer is a change in perspective. I just saw 2222. So, like, again, once again, you're not too late. You're not too early. You're right on time. Like, there's no, like, oh, I should have done that before. You know, because, like, I've heard people be like, I should have experimented when I was younger, you know? Dude, like, why not do it now? Who the hell cares? I think that there's, like, there's opportunities. Maybe even coming in. So, like, maybe I'm telling you this now so that, like, when they do come in, you can be like, oh, shit. Say less. I already got the thumbs up. It's already green. All right, so, yeah. Be, like, open to how, like, the universe is maybe, like, preluding things for you. I just thought about Star Wars, too. Now I'm thinking about, like, Rey and Kylo Ren. Interesting. Okay, so the next part is where to look for inspiration. And I just said, like, Star Wars, right? Fucking love Star Wars, so definitely watch Star Wars. Doesn't even matter what movie you pick. But my favorite is Revenge of the Sith. I feel like everybody says that, but for obvious reasons. I think it's, like... it's important for a person like me, I think, that movie. Like, it's like a justification kind of movie. Like, I was really good, and then, like, there was a need to become bad. And it was justified, like it was a righteous kind of transition. I like to feel justified in my position when I can. Because it's like, I don't know, I feel like my life perspective is pretty unique. Like, I don't really know a lot of people like me. So whenever I see something in, like, the media that reflects me accurately, or, like, some of my, like, every single time I watch Black Widow, like, the Marvel one, obviously, I literally, like, it just takes me to a place. So, like, I can rarely even watch certain movies that actually remind me of myself because of how much they remind me of myself. And, like, I can't even really watch movies like Split or Room. Like, fuck no. Don't even put that shit on around me. Because it just makes me feel like, you know? Because I'm a really sensitive person. And, like, if the acting is really good, too, like, it's really, like... But I fucking love Revenge of the Sith. I don't know, I'm getting a little derailed here, but fuck it, who cares? It's my fucking video. What do I want? Okay, so I think I want to use this Citadel for this next part. It's my body and I'll cry if I want to. Cry if I want to. Hell yeah. Okay, that's by Melanie Martinez. I used to listen to her a lot when I was like in middle school. I used to like cry to her music. Maybe you need to cry. It could be good. I cried a little bit the other day, like maybe like a couple of days ago. I was crying. But it was a righteous cry. It wasn't something I even really... It was like a... I'm overwhelmed and I kind of like surrender right now. I don't really often surrender, but like... I had no choice in that moment but to surrender. And it didn't feel like, oh, I can't do this or I don't want to do this. It's just like, I like to feel in control. And like... I know what's going on and I'm in control of like getting myself to the outcome that I want to be in. So in that moment I didn't, and I had to like really sit in it and feel it in order to start to like create solutions on the other side of it. So, all right, where should Lindsay be looking for inspiration internally right now? Let's focus on internally first. We have the Weaver, rediscovery and transition, literally. So you're in between one thing and the next, and maybe even in the process of creating a thing. Or in order to pass some time, maybe you want to like practice more creative hobbies, like literally put your craft into your hands. Like I literally crochet things. And I think it's good for me because it's just repetitive motion, so it gives me a lot of time to think about things, and then I can like program a thing with the intentions I want it to have for me. So I actually made this to protect my crown while I'm at church, because I now like I'm a newcomer at a church that's like its demographic contrasts me like greatly. And it's not that I have a problem with being around people that are different from me, like I don't care, but it's just that they care, and I know they care. And I also know that they like have the energetic predominance. So it's like I have to take responsibility for my self-protection and protect my crown in the like worship place. Even though it's supposed to be like this like sanctuary, just because I understand that there is perhaps no true sanctuary. And that's just me having acceptance of the fact that of like human nature. So, you know, I feel like some of the things that you could be understanding about yourself or other people around you right now makes you understand that they're not going to change, and you don't have to change. You just might need to adapt in a new way. And there's something already inside you right now that you can use to like get through this. All right, what else for internal inspiration? Wow, all over the floor. We have the Miser, stubbornness and inflexibility. And the Walker, the unknown and a journey. So I talked about how like me literally crafting things is a meditative process for me, and I get a lot of like divine guidance in that process about how I should be moving. It's like a good time for me to just like get ideas airdropped in my head. I also sometimes will like feel called to just lay down, and I don't actually sleep, but I just like shut down my body so that I can focus on brain processing. I don't know how much of that you're doing, but like it could be helpful to just be still. And if you're not used to being still, that could be really hard to do. The aspirant, ambition, diligence, and setbacks. Like once again, the answers are inside of you right now, but you need to figure out how to access those, which kind of feels like some kind of like meditation. And I know some people like the garden. Some people walk. I walk my dog like a lot. Something about like just getting outside and walking my dog, like it gets my brain going, makes me think about things, or it just helps me clear out my energy and refresh it. And I feel a lot of pressure from my environment, like just mentally. So it's necessary for me to like keep even my home environment energy clean. Cause like people know where I live. Like I was I was at church on Sunday, and this lady was like, I can give you a ride, I'm going that way anyways. And I was like, how do you know where the fuck I live? I've never met you before. I didn't say that because like, you know, she doesn't need to know that I know that she knows. But like, I was like, dude, like, how the fuck do you know which direction I even come? So, you know, just be, you know, keep it clean, because you don't know who's who and what's what until you observe it well enough. And that's part of your strength, is that you have that observational objective view. So just continue to be the eyes. Okay, so that leads me to like external, because what are you looking for now? Let's see. My neighbor just like came, like, so if you see me looking over there, it's because I only have like one way in and out, and it's like I repositioned all my furniture recently, and that helped me refresh. So my desk is now facing like as if the graveyard that I work at is like across. So that's kind of nice because I work with the dead. So now the energy kind of like can flow just like across the street, kind of. And then I moved my lounge area towards the south. So like I'm relaxing in the past and then working like more like northeast. Like I'm working towards something, but then also it's not exactly north, because north is more like this way from where I'm at, like it's like that way. So I'm like kind of diagonal facing, which I like because I like the bishop in chess, which is interesting because I mentioned that I also like the knight because it does the L, but you know. I could get into chess. I get excited playing chess. Okay, whatever. Inspiration external, maybe chess. Maybe chess. Or any kind of like game. I also like Pac-Man. Tetris. My little brother is super into Rubik's Cubes. Like, he's autistic like that. Like he also loves video games. Like always on his Xbox. I had to, bro. I had to make my opinion known because I'm more of like a PlayStation kind of person. But he didn't get to pay for his Xbox. He didn't pay for it, so it's kind of like it's chosen for you. It's predetermined. They talked about predetermination of citizenship in the kingdom, in a church, and I have ideas about it. I don't know, like maybe look to your like religion of origin for some inspiration, like spiritually, because I've been going to church and it's been like I don't really reference scripture very often. Like I'm not like a scripture. I never really was. Like even when I was going to church like every Sunday as a kid, like my church, they referenced scripture, but it was more about the message. Like it was metaphors, and like it's Black people church, so it's like that's how, like we like it was rural North Carolina, like Black people like Baptist church, like it's communicated through metaphors, more than like actual text, and so it's cool to have like the text. So I can like research the Bible from like a intellectual kind of like researchy background, like studying it, rather than like because I already have the messages from church from before, like like I know the stories, I got the juice of it. Now I want the bones. So you could be like deep diving, and that's something you want to do externally. Like there could be some inspiration there. Where should Lindsay be looking? Thanks. We have the Masquerade in reverse. It's hiding your true self in projection. So that's interesting. Try to look like beneath the surface of things that you think that you understand but probably really don't. And be open to like how you don't know anything about certain things. Like, just consider that you're not maybe, yeah, like the adventurer. Allow yourself to be humbled when necessary. We have responsibility and expectations because there's more than what you currently have, and you're encouraged to like actively go out and look for what that is. Like, this reminds me of like when I first used cards, like when I was 14. It was because I saw people on YouTube that I respected that were giving me messages that like empowered me. And then I was like, well, I think I can do this for myself, and I want to do this for myself because I trust myself more than I trust anybody else. And I felt like I had seen it done enough to like want to try, and then I did. And I just got on my shit, and I practiced a lot. So it doesn't have to be that you ever like take it to the degree that I've taken it, like as a side hustle. But you know, try some shit. Just try something. Because I feel like you might have some kind of Midas touch. There's a lot of hands in these cards. And we literally have miser. Like, I think you might. You might be more insecure about your value than like you need to be. And that's something to consider moving forward. It's like, where am I holding myself back? Like, how am I not actualizing my own potential where that exists? And have I looked everywhere? Like, have I tried all the things? What things have I not already tried? I want, like, dude, I fucking love riding horses. And there's nothing, like, really especially productive about it. But if I could do it all the time, I would. Like, understanding what your interests are, maybe even trying to figure out what some of the more symbolic meanings are of those interests. Like, where they come from, where you come from, like, your origin. What can you remember of maybe even your own past lives that, like, serve as inspiration? Because I had this one really crazy dream where I was a cheetah named Tara, dude, and I literally remember being a cheetah. Like, I remember having a cheetah body and moving my cheetah muscles and, like, running so fast. And I remember how it felt to like be a cheetah and like run on 4 legs. Like, it was like the most vivid thing. It was like I was a cheetah. Man, it was a cool ass dream. I was running so fucking. I can't explain it to you because like from a human perspective, like you can't even imagine. Like you can't even imagine how fast I was running. But like because I had it in dream experience, I can remember like how fast I was. So, like, try to look for the clues that you already have about yourself and, like, who you are and who, like, maybe you even are in the eyes of other people as inspiration for that. Because, like, I have my, like, I always thought of him as, like, a great white shark. he's like a great white shark. And, also, what else about him? The number 8. I don't know what it is about him, and I just think he's the number 8. And when I think of the number 8, it reminds me of a certain archetype of like men that are like kind of like octopus, like they're tentacly, like they're like, you know, hard to kind of like grab, and they're slippery. Not necessarily even like in a bad way, but like also in a maneuverable, flexible, like, and he's a Virgo, he's like mercurial, so it makes sense. It's like adaptable, camouflagey, hidden in plain sight, intellectual, not from here, but can play a role and function, maybe even as smarter than you think, intentionally downplays their intelligence. Yeah, you could be finding inspiration in like particular people that you think are like cool, that like are pioneering maybe in some way that you feel like you want to. Okay, and then we have the Hunter. Sure-footedness and predestination. What the fuck am I saying, bro? And then we have the Waker in reverse, awareness and reflection. Bars. Bars. Literally. So the Hunter makes me think of position. Like hunter, like predator, prey. What are you? Ask yourself that. Be honest with yourself about where you really are without like the lens of bias. And then figure out where your strengths and weaknesses are And then figure out who you need to ally with in order to be supported where you are weak. And who can benefit from where you are strong. And then offer your strengths in return for protection. Deadass. Yeah. And like, be aware of the fact that other people have internal worlds just like you that you have no idea about. Always be like aware of that. Never underestimate what the other person's inner world looks like, because then you're setting yourself up to be more prey than you even think, you know? And then you're like not even knowing that you're actually the prey. Be aware of like arrogance where that exists, because I think it's natural for people to be like, oh well, I have all these strengths, you know, and I know what mine are and I'm really confident in them. That's why I'm saying that you're in a point of transition, and I think a lot of that has to do with your perspective, because the bottom of the deck is the waker, awareness and reflection. So there's something about how God is setting up the playing field, the chess table right now, where people are having an opportunity to like understand what they didn't understand and had like maybe even no choice but to not understand before. And there's like a value to that revelation period. Like, oh, I get it now. Or, oh, now I have this whole new realm of thought to explore. Like, there's inspiration available in the not knowing, if you choose to like take advantage of that as what it is. You don't have to choose any position before you understand the situation. So give yourself time to like really see it again, like everything. Don't feel limited by the stagnancy. Find inspiration in it. Take the opportunity to be curious about what's already available. Like, don't push too far beyond what's in the right now. Okay, so yeah, thank you so much for booking this reading with me. Hope you like it. And I'll see you guys in the next one. Bye.